Welcome to another horrid, despicable episode of the apocalypse. Aren't you so glad you're here? I know I am. The end is bloody nigh. I don't know if you knew that. All must make a choice. There can be no indifference anymore. It is not permitted, or permitted, I should say. Proper English. English, damn it. So, there are but two paths that you may choose from. Unfortunately, there are only two. Path 1, God, Jesus Christ, justice, righteousness, goodness, decency. Believing your fellow man should have the freedom to not be persecuted by you, the ignorant. The law. Path 2, the imp, the antichrist, the false prophet, the apocalypse, plague, Armageddon, the bloody lake. Choose now. Congratulations, you have chosen the apocalypse. And since you have unwisely chosen the apocalypse, you are in urgent need of a guide. Unfortunately for me, I happen to be that guide, your humble guide, Nicholas. So good to see you, a bloody gayin. It appears that the oil mafia gets the heads up on Reich war plans before Congress does. That alone is bloody impeachable. Donnie admits it offhand as if it is normal. Let us begin. Before I start, something occurred to me. I should have realized this. They need to do this annexation shit before the midterms. That's why they jumped on it right at the beginning of the new year. Year one, I guess they focused on domestic mostly. Year two, before midterms, they're doing the annexation. That's why the accelerated schedule. I was wondering why it's happening so fast right now. Because Iran's on the list too, I don't know if you know. And I'm thinking, they got to get this done before midterms. Now, they already know they're not going to allow midterms to happen normally. Because we all know what would happen. This is a Reich with Stephen Miller and douchey Leon and just... Nobody likes this shit. If the midterms were allowed to play out normally, untampered with, they would get demolished. They'd have a minority in the Senate and the House. And they would be out for blood because Donnie has committed about 97 obvious, in your fucking face, highest level crimes you can fucking think of. So they could impeach him on just... pick one, son. Donnie breaks the law a fucking minute. He killed 80 people with that little stunt he just fucking pulled, by the way. On top of the 100 he had already killed in the Caribbean. So I understand now they need to get this done before the midterms because the midterms means impeachment. Now, again, they're already going to panic and they're not going to let it happen. So get this all done while you can't get impeached. When the midterms come around, expect the military back on your streets. shortly before midterms. That's exactly what I expect. Donnie said he's going to bring them back. He's going to bring them back around midterms. Right now, the right going to focus on all the annexation shit because they don't want to wait till after midterms because they got something else to unleash most likely during midterms. I can't see them just letting it play out. What they will unleash then, Donnie said, Insurrection Act, martial law, shit like that. That's when that's coming. Be prepared. The rest of the world and us right now for the next few months, be prepared for them to hit country after country and take what they want. Expect it, son. Now, let's begin. A few clips came out from Donnie like yesterday on the plane and stuff that didn't come out during the day yesterday. And they were rather striking. This is Donnie on the plane doing the closet interview. I hate these. It's so cringe. His interviews at the White House with the chopper or whatever going to, it's so fucking cringe. And he's in the closet like Donnie's about to go take a shit or something. I don't know. It's cringe. It's weird. It's stupid. Trump has said that oil companies were told of the attack on Venezuela before it happened. Now, don't believe the commenter. Let's believe what was said. Reporter, did you speak with the oil companies before the operation? Did you tip them off? Any other politician, president, would never say yes to this question. Even if they were lying, they'd still lie and say, oh, no, of course I didn't do that. The Reich and the ultimate criminal are so comfortable, he just admits it outright. Hey, he committed a crime live on TV before he even became president the first time. He said, Russia, if you're listening, get the emails. Hours later, they got the emails. That was a communication directly to Russia, a conspiracy on live television. They don't have to be in the same room to communicate, especially when you're on national fucking television. So Donnie's used to speaking his crimes out loud and you don't do fucking shit about it. Any politician, the most novice politician, knows the answer to this question is hell no, I didn't tip off the oil companies first. I would never do such a thing, even if they're lying. Not this cunt. Not this Antichrist. Before and after, they want to go in and they're going to do a great job. Before and after. Did Congress get a briefing before? No. Did they get asked permission before, like you're supposed to when you start a war with another fucking country? No. The oil companies, and he has the audacity, this cunt, that sells fucking classified information. Let alone what he leaks with his big fucking mouth CIA operations to the oil companies. A major strike that was about to fucking happen, a kidnapping of the leader, a taking over of the country. The oil mafia knew about it. Congress did not. And he admits that out loud. In normal times, a motherfucker, even if they were president, would go to prison for that shit. Holy fuck, man. Look, it doesn't surprise me that he did it. What surprises me is that he just flat out blatantly admits. Amazing what you people have done that have put this thing where it is. My God, you really picked a winner. And that winner going to take you all the way to Armageddon, baby. Inevitable, guaranteed. World War III, my God. But the specific battle, Armageddon, he's going to take you to that too. But right, for the short term, I guess you could call it World War III. That's what's about to happen. Before and after, the Antichrist, criminal, convicted felon says, traitor to his nation, spy even. He didn't take those 3,000 classified documents for nothing, son. Told the oil companies before Congress. Wow. And just admits it straight up like it's no big deal. Because, hey, you people let him get away with everything else, right? This is an audio clip from Donnie yesterday, I believe. There's been protesters killed in Iran. What is the line there for when the U.S. is going to get involved in those protests? If they start killing people like they have in the past, I think they're going to get hit very hard by the United States. I'm just reading you this to show that Iran's on the list to get hit soon again because Bibi and Donnie want to do that. Cuba, Colombia, Mexico, I can't even remember them all. There was 5, I can't even remember. Cuba, Colombia, Mexico. Sad when I can't remember all the territories Donnie wants to annex. Oh, Greenland was mentioned specifically in the next 2 months. I read you that one yesterday. That's 4. Venezuela, he just hit. That's 5. He's already got the Holy Land. And Iran's on the list too. What's that, about 7, 6 countries? They got lined up for military action. And you know what the big threat from the European Union and NATO and all that was today? If you attack Greenland, NATO is done. Oh, wow, that really scares Donnie. He wants NATO to be done. He wants the alliances with the European countries over so he can openly alliance with Vlad. He's pretty much doing it in our face right now. So, you know, that's perfectly fine with Donnie and Vlad. They would love to see the Europe cut ties with America and all that. Then Vlad and Donnie can join forces and fight Europe. You know that's coming, right? Europe and Canada versus us in some major way. Because again, right now, Donnie gets this hemisphere. Vlad thinks he gets Europe. Xi thinks he gets Asia. Meanwhile, Donnie going to take it all. Donnie's an Adolf Hitler. Every hand he shakes. Vlad's an Adolf Hitler. Every hand he shakes, he plans on fucking you over before he shakes your hand. I am not kidding in the slightest. Again, look at Donnie and Leon. Again, I just read you this to let you know Iran's on the list of whatever 5, 6 countries that Donnie has lined up for annexation and military action next. Got to be done before we even get close to midterms. That's obviously the goal here. So this is all going to happen fast. And they kind of showed us that when, on the 3rd or 4th day of the new year, they're already... Let's ring in the new year with some straight up annexation of a little poor country's oil wealth. All for the oil mob and Donnie. I wanted to let you know Donnie got a free, he got you to pay for them stealing the oil. He's going to get you to pay for what the oil companies invest. It was free for the oil companies and Donnie to steal the oil and keep it and sell it. Your tax dollars provide the enforcers called the U.S. military for everything that's about to happen. But I'll get to that more in detail. Trump says his military attack on Venezuela is about peace on earth. That's a longer quote, but that's one of the things he said. Why are we running right to the oil fields? I don't see them burning like drug fields and stuff like that to eradicate the drug industry down there. You notice that? They're not doing that. They're just going right to the oil fields. Peace on earth, Donnie says, after he just bombed a country, killed 80 people. That's what this Venezuela thing's about. This post that's far more concerning than what Stephen Miller's wife made is the one by Donald Trump's Office Rapid Response account showing a drawing of Trump holding a club that says Don Roe Doctrine while he's stomping on the Western Hemisphere. This is the talking point now. We're allowed, or Donnie's allowed, to control the hemisphere. Multiple entities are saying it out loud. Coordinated. This is the propaganda you will see, that we have the right to do this. And Donnie runs the hemisphere. Little do all you little children know, around him enabling this, Donnie's going to want to rule the world. And he's going to take every single one of you right to the abyss with him. So have fun now, son. The Trump War Room, this has a gold check mark. So this is a legitimate account. This is put out by Trump's people. Donnie has his feet stretching from Canada to South America, straddling all that territory. That's the message being put out by the Reich right now. Owning the hemisphere. They've mentioned it a few times here and there. That's the talking point you're going to hear more often. Straight up put out by the Reich right there. Trump on Somalis. They are stealing money from the American taxpayer. Every one of them should be forced to leave this country, including Ilhan Omar, who is a total crook. Donald Trump is a convicted felon, adjudicated rapist, fraud, defamer, staged a coup against this nation, got people killed, stole 3,000 classified documents, and told the FBI to fuck off when they asked for them back. That's the short list, son. Not to mention, now he's graduated to mass murderer, annexer of territory and resources of other nations. Straight up. No pretense, really. Once in a while, someone pretends it's about drugs still. And, you know, Miss Bondi was even on the news tonight talking about this was a law enforcement action. This wasn't a war action. Look, that ain't going to work in The Hague, son. That ain't going to work with Congress either. That's for the rubes. And here's the evidence it wasn't a law enforcement action, you fucking disingenuous cunts that have ushered in the fucking apocalypse. And I hate you for doing it, because I have to suffer it with your dumb ass. They went right to the oil fields. Fuckhead. What's that got to do with a law enforcement action? Goddamn nothing. They just wanted to steal the oil. Otherwise, they'd be burning fields of drugs right now, wouldn't they, dumbasses? But again, you people don't care. As long as it's your king annexing countries, you don't give a fuck. It's going to take your dumbass to World War III, though. That's what your little child ass does not understand, that I knew 10 fucking years ago, that you still don't know. Don't worry, you will, son. We all will. Straight up racism right here. And Donnie's a convicted felon talking about Ilhan Omar's a crook. Are you fucking kidding me? Donnie just annexed a country. Donnie just mass murdered 100 people in the Caribbean. Mass murdered another fucking 80. Going to mass murder a lot more, too. And Donnie don't ask for permission, no declarations of war. He's a dictator now. You live in a dictatorship. Enjoy and thank you for your attention to this shitty fucking matter. You cunts. Donnie at a podium. This was probably yesterday. I'm not sure. Donnie telling on himself, giving the game away so you know what to expect in the future. I'll decode it for you, of course. You pulled the National Guard out of Portland. Trump, we did. And do you know that Portland, we got it down to almost no crime? We're allowed to go back in. But we'll go back in when the crime starts. You mean when you overturn the midterms? Or don't let them take place? The crime you're going to instigate? Is that what you're talking about? Of course he is. All planned before the election, son. Everything you're saying. Already knew they were going to do this. They had a timeline. They're executing. I can tell by how quick they jumped into New Year to the annexation. Bam, just do it. And I knew they would. I just didn't know when. Now we know. And knowing's half the battle. Did you watch the cartoon G.I. Joe when you came home from school? The lesson was, now you know, and knowing's half the battle. Damn it. Were you listening? Or were you eating snacks? Was the crunch in your mouth too loud? We're allowed to go back in. We'll go back in when the crime starts. And here is the point. Here is where Donnie tells on himself, son. We may use the Insurrection Act. That means we will use the Insurrection Act. You know when? It's a secret. Don't tell nobody. Midterms. That was planned before the election. They already knew they were going to do it. They knew they were right. They knew they were Nazis. They knew they were going to subjugate the masses, deploy the military. Everything Hitler did. Just whatever Hitler did, that's what they're going to do. They knew the masses would get upset about that. Because the Nazis were the same type of criminals these people are. They want everything for themselves and their friends. That's all that's going on. They don't really believe in jack fucking shit. Neither did Adolf Hitler. We may use the Insurrection Act. That is Donnie flat out telling on himself and telling you what he's going to do in the future. Expect that Insurrection Act, that martial law thing at the midterm, somewhere around there. Annexation for now. Like lightning. Blitzkrieg, they call it. Just not with tanks this time. You don't have to do that anymore. Missiles, drones, flying machines, boats off the coast. You don't need to attack really anymore. Not when you have modern technology. Someone's going to catch them slipping, though, and a bunch of troops are going to die. It's inevitable. People, again, they don't take lightly to you taking their entire treasure. The only thing a country has, man, that's crossing a serious fucking line. And people will be willing to kill over it. Donnie's already killed over it. We may use the Insurrection Act. Remember that when he does it. He already told you he's going to. Trump to Fox News. Again, I believe this was yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it's right after the strike. This incredible thing last night. We have to do it again. Other countries, we can do it again too. Nobody can stop us. Just more context on the nobody can stop us line. It gets worse, doesn't it? It always does. I guess this is the morning after this incredible thing last night. We have to do it again to other countries. We can do it again too. Nobody can stop us. Now you know what the scripture meant every time you read it. Who can make war with the beast? I assumed it meant that the beast would have a military so powerful no one would dare fuck with it. First thing that comes to mind is the American military in our lifetime. Nothing on earth ever remotely anything like it. It's so far past any fighting force you can fucking think of that has ever walked this shite earth. That's what America has. That's why Donnie's using it. This is Starmer, the leader of Britain, I believe. And he can't even say that what happened was wrong. That tells you right there, the UK will walk hand in hand with us into the new Reich. Beth Rigby, I guess that's a reporter, has the U.S. violated international law? And this is Starmer. If you don't know what he looks like, he's been around. You've seen him. International law is really important. That's not an answer. That's a filibuster. You're not going to say whether they have or they haven't violated international law. That's what she's asking. I'm going to be clear that I believe in international law. I've long been an advocate of international law. Come on, man. You can't even say what happened to Venezuela's wrong, really. He's afraid to go against the narrative, Donnie, all of it, because that tells me, Britain, I hate to tell you, your country gave a bunch of money to Thale too. United Kingdom. Starmer right here, you British people. He doesn't seem to want to contradict the Reich in any way. And the UK gave a bunch of money to Thale, just like the United States did. They named the country or the company Palantir for a fucking reason. It's the seeing stone that the devil could see through in the stories. That tells you what the company's about and what it's going to be used for against you. Surveillance of all unimaginable, horrible types. So Starmer just proved to me in this one interaction, as well as the money to Thale, the UK will walk hand in hand with the United States into this Reich. Expect that, United Kingdom people. I'm just warning you. Can tell by this one interaction. All I need to see. This is quotes from Donnie. Again, from an interview, it looks like Fox or something, probably yesterday. We can do it again. We can bomb again whatever we want. No one can stop us. No country in the world has the capacity that we have. That's what I've been yelling for 10 years. That's what I was worried about. That's why I was yelling before this third election. Don't give him the keys because he will have the hammer and he will use it this time. He's saying what I've been saying, what I just said to you a few minutes ago. We can do it again. We can bomb again, whatever we want. No one can stop us. No country in the world has the capacity that we have. No group of countries has the... You don't understand. No region of this earth has invested nearly as much, nothing even close, into their military like America has. Plus, America got to a point where it had just enormous, vast amounts of wealth. Also an anomaly. Just so much more in comparison to other countries. On a whole, just another fucking level. Money. And they took a major percentage of the gross domestic fucking product and they put it right into the military. Donnie put another $1 trillion, son. The infrastructure we already have worldwide. They're building a concentration camp infrastructure to go with that right now. No other country has anything like that on the scale we have across the world. We have bases everywhere. America has been entrenched for a good 100 years. No other group of nations or nation has that infrastructure already in place around the world. The most modern technology, and a lot of it, not just a little bit, not 3-4 planes. Probably almost 1 million soldiers, and then you draft and you get, 5 million more. We should probably expect that at some point in the future when World War III starts. People ain't going to want to join up, you know what I'm saying? So there might be a draft. They might draft people as old as me or older. And I'm the 5-0, son. I wouldn't put it past them. They don't give a fuck. They about to hit 5-6 more countries, annex Greenland, eventually Canada. There will be retaliation. I'm letting you know. So there may be a draft at some point. World War III would require a draft, wouldn't it? You would think. I want to read this one more time, because he's proving everything I've been saying for 10 years and everything I've been saying since January and before. Everything. We can do it again. We can bomb again. Whatever we want. No one can stop us. No country in the world has the capacity that we have. Who can make war with the beast? You're witnessing it. That thing. That piece of scripture right here. He's about to take Greenland. The whole world knows it. NATO, the European Union, all of them. All they said was, NATO's over if you do that. Not, we're going to fight you. Who can make war with the beast? I told you, no one would fuck with the American military. We'll get the occasional skirmish type thing where people want to get, revenge for what took place. I'm talking about, is Denmark going to go to war with the U.S. over Greenland? Stephen Miller laughed about it tonight in a clip. He knows that's not going to happen. That's the overwhelming might I was talking about, our military in comparison. That's why throughout the decades when I read that piece of scripture again, who can make war with the beast? Immediately, again, I thought of the beast, the Antichrist, must have the greatest military on earth, nothing can touch. And then 1 second later, well, America, nothing. I just can't, I can't express enough how much further ahead and amount and technology and infrastructure around the globe we have than just everyone else. So it makes sense the Antichrist took this place. We're also different. We're a complete anomaly. This country that allowed all nations to come live here until the Nazis took over. All ethnicities, religions. There was no persecution for religion unless you were a witch. Or they called you one anyway. Doesn't mean you actually were one. That alone that's not normal. The vast wealth this country became, the empire. It became the empire of the world. It didn't exist. Before that, it was a bunch of Native American tribes, you know. Then it became the empire of the world, the wealthiest nation. Everyone wanted to do business with it. It set the culture, the cultural standards for the rest of the world. How many countries are still catching up with, like, musically? How many countries are performing music from the 50s and 60s? This country set, like, the standard for acceptable music, acceptable movies, theater, acceptable sporting. Every country copied us. A total anomaly. Again, the wealth. And then this, the most interesting thing of all, today I was thinking about it. The amount put into the military. You don't really do that unless you plan on using it at some point, do you? Or was it a result of World War II and the fear that a madman like Hitler might try and take over the world again? Maybe that was the fear. Or now that we've defeated Germany and we own pieces of Europe and we have bases in Japan and in Asia when we fought Korea, and just now that we're an empire, well, we need to expand. So we need to build this thing up. Or was it just, again, out of fear of what happened in World War II? A madman almost took over the world. You understand that. We were an inch away from all speaking fucking German and Berlin being the capital of the fucking world. You understand that, right? If the United States did not jump in, and I'm not giving the U.S. all the credit, but millions of soldiers came from this nation that's not supposed to exist. If those millions did not jump in the fight, forget about it. Hitler was dominating Europe. It was dire, man. My point is, a true madman put the fear of God in the whole fucking world. And there was one section of territory that had a real military that was sitting it out. And that was us. And if we would have continued and waited for Hitler to take all of Europe and eventually take Russia and really get established, he would have came and taken us too. No doubt. We just had an ocean between us. That's the only thing that, you know, really stopped us from seeing German tanks rolling down our streets. That's not a joke. So again, I wonder why the military buildup. Was it just Rome making sure it could expand and keeping its military ahead of everyone else's? Was it fear of World War II because a madman almost took over the fucking world? Anyway, this force that's not supposed to exist on this planet, that's so far ahead and so much more well-funded infrastructure, the whole package, than just everywhere else combined on this globe. And it's just sitting there. Somebody had to use it, right? I mean, use it to take over the world in a straight up in your face way. No one in the world has the capacity that we have. Trump threatens to bomb any part of the planet, claims that no one can stop the U.S., that no one can stop us is a warmongering speech very similar to the Nazi Germany. when it decided to invade half the world and declared total war. It reminds me of the Nazis, yeah. It's a territory just like Adolf Hitler, and resources steal from their neighbors. That's standard. The Orange Hitler and his fascist imperialism are going to lead us to a new world war, where this time humanity faces a very clear risk of being exterminated by the nuclear threat. Yep. That's why you don't see a lot of major empires going around just willy-nilly attacking multiple countries anymore. You don't really see that very often. You see Russia singling somebody out, trying to take them back into the motherland. You see China fuck with somebody a little bit, maybe. U.S. will invade certain sections of the earth at different points in history. But you don't really see nations going around just country after country like Donnie's about to do anymore, because nuclear weapons. And someone might shoot one the fuck off. That's why you don't really see that anymore. Donnie doesn't give a fuck about that. So you may not be worried, but I'm certainly fucking worried that a nuke might get shut off in this. In fact, I'm thinking of reasons logically, if this is all real, and it sure seems like it is, if the Christ part coming back is real, well, why would he have to come back now instead of all those other times, all those other huge battles, world wars, horrid atrocities? Because man could always fix it. Son, something going to happen this time that man can't fix. And that's why the man got to come back. That's the only logical reason that makes sense to me. Not that any of this is logical. Logical based on what I know about Scripture, the world, my experience, everything, interpretations, all of it. The normal person, none of this would sound logical, but you would have to know Scripture at least on a slightly more than novice level. Understand the correlations between the books. Understand the spiritual realm a little bit. Have contemplated it. Try not to get over dramatic and ridiculous, even though it's otherworldly and crazy. Not something that can fully be understood. By my metric, it makes logical sense. Let's put it that way. World War, I mean, come on, people, you're not stupid out there. If Donnie goes country by country and starts just doing whatever he wants, World War III is kind of inevitable, right? Yeah. And in this World War, again, son, well-established nuclear arsenals in many countries. And other, missiles that aren't nuclear that can do some real fucking damage if someone decides to say, you know what, fuck it. I'll go out like Billy the fucking Kid. Donnie don't give a fuck. He just grifting, murdering, stealing, lying. I'm worried about it too, man. It's the only place it can go. And if he's the Antichrist, well, yeah, it's going to be World War III. Of course it'll fucking be. I mean, from the rest of the world's perspective that's about to get bombed, they can look at it as World War III, I'm sure. Venezuela might look at it as World War III right now. Let me take a break for a moment. Take a studio break with no commercials. Oh, shit. I just lost my place. Oh, I'll find it when I get back. Okay, but the cigarette really helped. Nobody can stop us. We can do it again, too. This incredible thing last night. Incredible thing that killed 80 fucking people. That's the Antichrist, baby. That's why I've been saying it for fucking 10 years. I'm not saying it for fun or because I don't like the guy. I wish I only didn't like the guy. Then we'd have a future. Instead of World War fucking 3. But we get World War 3. That's what we get. God, I so lost my place here. Kerry Starmer, where is he? There he is. All right, we can do it again. Nuclear threat, yeah, nuclear missiles. As a teenager, Marco Rubio worked for his brother-in-law, Orlando Cecilia, in an import and sale business of exotic animals. It was a front for moving nearly 500,000 pounds of cocaine and marijuana. This is a Spanish Latin reporter type person. This was actually printed in Spanish. I had to translate it. And yeah, I heard the story. I've seen the information. Rubio lived with this drug dealer who was moving weight. And now he's Mr. Save the World, Save the Little Children from Drugs as he's giving speeches, coked up himself. I've seen it. Look, it's about oil, and they're going to take what they want from the other countries, too. And the cartels, they sent a message to all you guys, too. You better pay up or he's going to take it. According to Donnie, he knows where all you people are, too. For once, some of the most evil entities, and it's not a good thing. It's not being done for any just reason. But for once, some of the most evil entities on Earth, the cartels in the South America and Mexico, I mean, do you know what they've done to people? Forget about the drugs they sell. That's not what I'm talking about. Those people have to worry about the American military coming to kill them, take their drugs and money, and their empire. And Donnie will fucking do it, too. Without hesitation. It's not being done for righteousness or justice or anything good. It's just being done because Donnie's the Antichrist and his greed is a void that can never be filled. Does Donnie need the cartel's drug money? No, he doesn't. Does he need their tribute? Nope. He just wants it. That's the Antichrist. That's Adolf Hitler. That's Donnie Shitbags. That's what you got right now. Enjoy. It's going to get so damn ugly. And expect the military back on your streets later this year. Expect a lot of annexation till then. Instead of the mass murderer Pete Hegseth being brought up on charges, it's Mark Kelly who's brought up on charges. And they didn't take him into a courtroom because they know they'd lose like a motherfucker on that. So they just did the administrative corporate thing where we're just going to, lower your rank and take some of your retirement pay away from you. Isn't that nice? That the Princeton man who never saw no real action, Mr. 1.5 pull-ups, mass fucking murderer, who wasn't in the room just at the right moment when those two survivors were fucking executed. He's the one doing this to this man. Fucking disgusting. Inversion of reality. Fucking Hegseth should be at the fucking Hague right now. Do you understand that? The trial would take about 5 minutes. There's video evidence. If people weren't lying for Pete and going along with the story that he wasn't in the fucking room, and I know he was in the room. I know it. Of course he fucking was. Hegseth starts proceedings against Senator Mark Kelly of Arizona. Fucking disgusting, man. This man had a military career. He served his time, did whatever he had to do. He got a pension out of it, whatever rank he fucking was. And the Reich, a bunch of goddamn traitors, and I mean goddamn traitors. Take some of this man's money and rank away. Can you fucking believe it? All he said was don't follow illegal orders. But the Reich can't have that, can they? They can't have troops questioning and putting a gun down, can they? Because without them, the Reich is nothing. What's sad is the military will go along. How do I know that? A book called Revelation. That's how I know that. And human nature. What I've seen on this planet, my God. I don't even need revelation. Doesn't work without them. The story, he takes over the world. I guess they go along, huh? Yeah. I figured they would. Human nature. Well, they're the hand of the devil now. Literally. This isn't just, again, this ain't no normal politician, world leader. This is the Antichrist, son. Got the devil's blessing. If you in the military right now doing that business for the Reich, you are the literal hand of the fucking devil. You got a direct line through Donnie Shitbags right to Satan. I swear to you, son. Can you fucking believe it? Did you sign up for that? I guess you must have. That's not even an exaggeration. And again, I know it doesn't make logical sense to little children out there. I know. It is, though. What proves that it is to me, again, Assassination Day for one, and you people out there, and what this Reich is doing, and how everyone's just going along. We had a senator zip-tied and thrown on the floor, remember that? He was Latin, so who cares, right? Again, if they would have did that to a Republican senator, you people would be smearing shit on your face right now. Again, this is the real Antichrist. It's the real story. I didn't know if it was real until you people and Donnie Shitbags came along. And then it was a whole new world of, oh shit. I go from the mob to the Antichrist. And the apocalypse. How the fuck about that? What a blessing. To live in the time of the Antichrist. Really? Life wasn't shitty enough before that, huh, Lord? We get to have this fun. Ron Filipkowski, the president against remote work, has been at his house in Florida for 3 weeks. The president has been absent for 3 fucking weeks. Running the country from his golf resort that you are paying his rent at. For 3 weeks. He running your credit card, son, at his own business. Again, right in his pocket. You're such goddamn marks. He ain't even pretending to be president anymore. We get no legislation passed in the houses. We get war, lies, theft, cuts, tariffs. Man, it's looking bleak, son. We got the military deployed on our streets. We got kidnappers and massive machine guns. We get this guy living at his golf resort on your goddamn dime, his whole entourage, everybody. 3 weeks. Joe Biden looking better and better, isn't he? He should be, if you have a brain. I miss having a real president. As crooked as things already were in this world, I didn't have to go to sleep wondering, is this fucking psycho going to start World War III tomorrow? And guess what? Again, class, little children, Donnie going to start World War III. That's a promise, son. Again, I'm not asking you, I'm telling you. That's why I'm here, to tell you these things. And again, you do what you want with them. I'm not trying to convince people of anything. I'm relaying the information. I don't think it all comes from me, because I've been right too many times. And that doesn't make me feel good. It makes me feel bad, actually. So I would listen and I'd pay attention. This ain't about a rock star. This is about all of you. Your life here and your next life. Which, from what I'm seeing, appears to be the real path we're on. The paradigm. I've been right too many times, and some of the things I just said on camera I didn't take from anywhere. Just on a feeling. That feeling probably came from somewhere else, I assume. Me getting into the topic, the type of person I am, hard to convince, not quick to point the finger, not the kind of person that's looking forward to it. When I was a younger man, I used to say things like that. Or maybe I thought, maybe I romanticized it a bit in my mind. Like, okay, I want the end. The end's probably going to be good once it's all over. Well, as I got older and understood the full gravity of what takes place in that story, I never wanted it to happen. And as is typical, it stretched out amongst years, and we had to go through him once for 4 years. Him terrorizing the fucking planet. Everyone going to bed worried every fucking night. We get a 4-year reprieve. He's still doing as much damage as he can while he's not president, still controlling Congress, the Republican Congress, as if he were president. And then we get another fun 4 years, or 6 or 8 or 10 or whatever this cunt, however his long his fucking heart holds out in that gelatin body he's in. So as is typical in the human experience, it's drawn out over such an agonizing time frame that no one can handle it. So that's fun. Three weeks, Donnie at his golf resort on your dime. Not even pretending to be president anymore, because he just grifting. That's all it ever was, let's be honest. And, you know, the murder, the theft, the lying, that goes along with the grift. Whatever gets more money in his bank account. What he has to do to get there, irrelevant. Obviously. 80 people dead again. In that law enforcement action where they went straight for the oil fields after they kidnapped the leader of the country. Hegseth on Venezuela raid. It seems those Russian air defenses didn't quite work so well, did they? Making jokes, boasting of the mass murder. Unsanctioned. And by unsanctioned, I mean they didn't go to Congress. Unilateral declaration of war, basically. An execution of war. And seizing of an entire nation. And again, 80 people had to die for this, and over 100 had to die before that in the Caribbean. And this Princeton cunt, who's a drunk, utterly unqualified, leaked classified information himself to a reporter, and Donnie's worried about congressional leaks. No, you're worried about Congress drawing up articles of impeachment. That's what you're worried about. You're not worried about leaks. Donnie had already leaked it to the oil companies, who leaked it to the press. And the press decided to sit on it. Remember, he thanked the press for keeping it hidden until it happened? That's because Donnie had already leaked it. And again, he has the audacity to talk about Congress leaking. What, a country you're about to attack? No, they don't leak it. You're supposed to go to them, make your case, ask for a declaration of war, ask for funding or sanctioning for the strikes. Again, Donnie and Pete, not only do they mass murder people, they boast of it afterwards. That's the worst part. Like the puppy killer in her book. She didn't just kill the puppy. She wasn't ashamed of it. She boasted of it in her book. Then she used that as a tie-in to the big ending, because she wanted to catch Donnie's eye. Where her and Donnie go to the White House and shoot Biden's dog. Because the dog bit people, right? He needed to be put down according to the puppy killer. In all her pock-faced anorexic blood. You know what that dog was doing? No one gonna tell me any different. I know exactly what that dog was doing. I told you before. Biting fucking traitors. There's a reason that dog almost exclusively bit Secret Service agents. You know why? Because that dog knew what they were thinking. There's something special about that dog. I don't care what anybody says. Very strange type of thing he was doing. And he was going after one specific group almost exclusively. And I know why. Personally, I think, and it might sound crazy, and I don't care, I think that was God letting some people know that what's coming in the future for them specifically. In other words, there was something divine about the animal. I don't expect that to make sense to you. Hilton Hotels. Homeland Security literally wrote an attack piece, basically, using the Homeland Security account against a major company, Hilton Hotels, because Hilton refused to rent rooms to guys in masks with machine guns. Wow, what a crazy notion. Maybe they thought their customers would get fucking spooked with you fucking freaks. Destined for the lake. Nobody wants you around. That's why you got to wear a goddamn mask. I don't blame a hotel for not wanting to rent to fucking 30, 40, 20, whatever fucking masked fat cunts with machine guns. Fuck you. I tell them get the fuck out my business too. So this is, again, Homeland Security, gray check mark. It's their account. This is what our government or the Reich spends your tax dollars, their time on. Attacking hotel chains that don't want to let kidnappers with machine guns and masks stay at their place to spook and scare all their fucking customers away. Hilton Hotels has launched a coordinated campaign in Minneapolis to refuse service to DHS law enforcement. When officers attempted to book rooms using official government emails and rates, Hilton Hotels maliciously canceled their reservations. This is unacceptable. Canceled in all caps, unacceptable is in all caps. Why is Hilton Hotels siding with murderers and rapists to deliberately undermine and impede DHS law enforcement from their mission to enforce our nation's immigration laws? All I see is ethnic cleansing, son. I see American citizens getting grabbed too. And I know you're going to grab American citizens in the future. I know that's why you're really out there. You know who the murderer is? The guy this cunt works for that wrote this message. He's a mass murderer. And they dare try and say because Hilton doesn't want these specific Hiltons in Minneapolis, it's probably not the whole company. And Donnie will probably threaten to arrest them tomorrow and they'll change their mind anyway. I don't blame any hotel for not wanting these people there. I'm sorry. And I just tell them straight up, I don't want my hotel to be a staging area for your fucking masked machine gun operation. I got customers. People want to feel like they're at home, be relaxed. They don't want to see your fat ass in a mask and machine gun. 40, 50 of you, as if it's an army. And we got to see, a government account do an advertisement against the company and tell, say they're siding with murderers. No, the Department of Homeland Security is siding with a murderer, Donnie. He's a murderer. He's stacking bodies too. What's he, $180? What we know about? Let alone what he's done before this moment and before he became president. And the people that mysteriously lost their lives while he was president, after he was president, when he's facing all his court cases, like his ex-wife, like Jeff Epstein. I'm sure Donnie had nothing to do with those. I would never say that. Amazing. Everything's murderers and rapists when Donnie's literally those two things. Isn't it incredible? Inversion of reality again. President Claudia Sheinbaum of Mexico. America does not belong to a doctrine or power. The American continent belongs to the peoples of each of the countries that make it up. Let it be clear, Mexico defends the sovereignty of the countries of Latin America. These countries will do nothing. There'll be little sabotage and attacks probably here and there. He's going to take it all. And he already said it this week, and he said Mexico out loud for, I don't know if he's ever done that before. Because again, they're on a timeline. This is their moment where they had planned on doing this part of it. So they got to drop some of the facade. That's what you're witnessing as well. More of the facade get dropped closer to full Reich. This is going to become a big problem for all of us. It already is a problem for me. Not just here with Google and YouTube and the reports and blah and AI shutdowns that have already happened. Most people haven't realized it, but AI-led reputational harm is on the rise. There will be lawsuits over this. I may be one of them. Um, and I'll win. Like a motherfucker. A major company, AI, is disparaging me, defaming me in a very serious way that could impact my future. That's defamation and damages. Emotional distress as well, possibly. I can't give you the details. This is a real thing that's happening to people. AI is generating reports. The company you work for, their AI could be generating reports on you, saying anything you don't know. Someone looks at that in the future. Things you did not do or say are associated with you because of AI. AI is generating reports and information about you as we speak all over the place. Who knows what it says? Who knows who it'll be given to? Unlike search engines where you can create an alert for your name, there is no way to control how AI will summarize or make up information about you, or the company you work for, their AI, or a company you buy a service from, their AI. What information are they saying about you? What are they writing in the files about you? There's no way to control how AI will summarize or make up info about you. That's what unregulated AI looks like. A major company, their AI has flat out defamed me. And I can prove it. That's the danger that all these companies getting rid of everybody, AI everything. I was really kind of surprised when I saw this. And I definitely realize now that I'm not the only one this is happening to. I might be the one that wins about $3 million in court, though. If they keep it up. I'm documenting it all, and I know exactly how to prove it. Irrefutable. Maybe a landmark case. My name may be in the paper. Probably get a lawyer to take it for free for a percentage. It's that kind of case. And it sounds like people across the country and the world are going through the same thing. So maybe it'll turn into a class action. In other words, companies out there, I'd be real careful what you let your AI do and say about people. It will result in the loss of your business. It will result in lawsuits that will cost you fucking millions. You better keep a tight leash on your AI, son. It could be defaming a whole group of people in your company right now. And your ass could end up in court owing millions. Good luck, son. AI is stupid. Humans aren't. Remember that. Rep Smith. I don't know who this guy is. The only reason I'm giving this to you is because what he said in his last sentence. And it told me that people are starting to get it now. That little annexation move woke some people up to how serious this is. What is Donald Trump's policy in the Western Hemisphere? He has threatened Colombia, Cuba, Greenland, Panama, Canada. He wants to be sort of emperor of the Western Hemisphere. Exactly. And then the world. I showed you the technocracy map again last night. That's what you're watching be filled in. That's why you're seeing the word hemisphere be used by Hegseth in press conferences, Stephen Miller in interviews, and directly by the Reich in government posts showing Donnie straddling the hemisphere. They're finally starting to wake up. This is Rep. Adam Smith. That's what he looks like. He's the one saying this on the news today, I believe. These people are finally starting to get it. Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, Adam Schiff. You getting it yet? Mr. Swalwell, too. You understand yet? To be sort of emperor of the Western Hemisphere. Exactly. You are witnessing that take place before your eyes. The seizing of the hemisphere, the argument being put forth, it's already been put forth by the Reich several times. We have the right to run the hemisphere. Donald Trump has the right to run the hemisphere. Again, little children that all made this happen all across the world. You don't know the monster you have unleashed. You will in the end, but by then it will be far, far too late. Jim Stewartson. For a normal person, this would be the easiest question in the world. For the Antichrist, not so much. Shadow President Peter Thiel hates himself so much he wants to delete humanity and start over. I told you, Jim Stewartson always calls Peter Thiel the Antichrist, even though Jim Stewartson's a fucking atheist. And I don't care that he's an atheist. I'm just saying, you're calling someone the Antichrist. That's Christian, that's biblical, or Jewish. You can look at it that way too. It's not atheist. So I think deep down everyone knows, even people that say they're an atheist. That's why they say things like that. But so many people, again, liberal people, people that don't believe in God, people that are atheists, a lot of them have called Donnie the Antichrist over this past 10 years. That's a strange phenomenon to me. Non-Christians, non-Jews that aren't into prophecy, throwing that Antichrist word around. Jim's convinced it's Pete Thiel. He always calls him the Antichrist. And I'm not laughing at him. I just think it's funny. And, you know, I said, yeah, Pete's is just as evil, but it's Donnie. And we just agreed to disagree. That's all. This interview with Pete Thiel that took place with the New York Times opinion reporter. Remember, a little bit chunky guy, had a beard, and he did a really good interview with Thiel. He threw some tough shit at Thiel, and Thiel's all like, Thiel is not a good speaker. Shadow President Peter Thiel hates himself so much he wants to delete humanity. Remember, this question got asked of him. I think you would prefer the human race endure, right? That's an easy question, right? For a billionaire or a millionaire on welfare. He couldn't answer. He hesitated. You're hesitating. Well, yes, I don't know. I would, this is a long hesitation. It's a long hesitation. There's so many questions and questions. Should the human race survive? Yes, but I also would I also would like us to radically solve these problems, and so it's all, he's a horrible speaker. I don't know, yeah, transhumanism is this. So I think Pete was trying to figure a way to link this to, I don't want us to survive in this form. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking to jump into a new body. That's the kind of human survival I want going forward. That's what he's trying to say. With the 6 paragraphs of, I don't know, Then he just openly starts promoting transhumanism, just as, I want real transhumanism. Yeah, transhumanism is this, the ideal is this radical transformation. He wasn't asking about transhumanism. Must mean a lot to Pete, huh? Where your human natural body gets transformed into an immortal body, and there's a critique of, let's say, the trans people in a sexual context. I don't know, transvestite is someone who changes their clothes, cross-dresses, and a transsexual is someone where you change your I don't penis into a vagina, and we can debate how well those surgeries were. But we want more transformation than that. It's that critique. It's not that it's weird and unnatural. It's, man, it's so pathetically little, and we want more than cross-dressing or changing or sex organs. We want you to be able to change your heart, change your mind, change your whole body. Yeah, he said all that. Pete flat out just promoted, yeah, I want to be able to go into a whole new body. Forget that transsexual shit. That's weak and pathetic. Man, that's a lot of stumbling, a clusterfuck of speech. Because he was nervous about just flat out basically saying, yeah, I'm a transhumanist and I really believe in it and I want to go all the way with it. I'm tired of this bullshit we have now. And this is so strange. Again, I don't really have time for this, but this man is making 2 arguments, okay? I listen to Alex Jones and all these right-wing people talk about the liberals wanting to do all this stuff when it was them, the white supremacists, the entire time. They're proving it right now. This could be an episode of Alex Jones right here. Of course, they'd be lying about some liberals saying they're into it. I've heard lessons over the years. Pastors talking about this subject, or commentators. These evil people want to stay here forever. They don't want to go to the next place. Because the next place for them is the lake. They didn't say it that way like I do, but that's basically what they were saying. Mr. Thale makes 2 arguments, basically, out of this 8,000 words of gibberish in this interview and another one he did. We can avoid Armageddon. We can have the Antichrist and all that. He didn't say it the way I'm saying it, but that's what he meant. But we need to avoid that Armageddon part because that's the part where the evil people get judged. He didn't say it like that either, but that's what he means, because he's one of the evil people. And he knows it. How do I know he knows he's evil and he's into some shit you can't even dream of? And that's why he talks about these things, and that's why he thinks about these things. That's why they're so important to him. Living forever here. Pete talks about the Antichrist. Pete knows some scripture. That means Pete knows there's a God. That means Pete knows there's a devil. He knows the concepts of dying and becoming immortal. Not having to worry about the imperfect realm here anymore. Yet he wants to stay here. And he's openly saying that. Again, you'd hear this on Alex Jones about liberals. That's what he'd be yelling. This guy talking about it open, promoting it. Why isn't Alex talking about this? Because Alex is part of the same group Pete is. Nazism, white supremacy, same thing. Same people. So he doesn't want to point the finger at this. You got you idiots all ginned up on the liberals. Meanwhile, the liberals about to be the ones locked up. And then you're next. Pete, who knows scripture, who knows there's a God, who knows there's a devil. He doesn't want to die and go to heaven or live the immortal life under God, whatever that is. He wants to stay here and be immortal here. And his other argument is, we can avoid Armageddon with world peace. We can still be the Antichrist and all that. But we need to avoid that Armageddon part. Why? Why would Pete himself specifically want to live forever and be immortal here? Why would Pete specifically want to avoid Armageddon? Because Armageddon is the judgment of the evil, is the death of the evil. Pete's going to be one of them, if he makes it that far. I guarantee it. Pete knows this. He doesn't want to be one of them. He doesn't want to go to the lake. He knows he's going to the lake if he takes his last breath and goes to the next realm. He knows that for certain. How do I know? He wants to live forever here, and he promotes that openly in front of you. This isn't a man who has no concept of God and the devil and that whole story. He's perfectly aware of it. And he's preaching the direct opposite. He's also preaching, if you don't like AI, you're of the Antichrist. You're a minion of the Antichrist. That's how he put it. Direct inversion of reality. The Antichrist will use AI. It will be his image. That's of the devil. Yet Pete is preaching the exact opposite. And Pete knows what I know. That tells me something about Pete. He worships the devil and he knows it. He doesn't want to leave this earth. He wants to be a transhumanist and live here forever in an immortal body. He said it out loud. He doesn't want Armageddon because that's the judgment of him, the Antichrist, and all the minions, everyone on the battlefield, dead. Mush. Then the lake. Pete knows this. That's why Pete thinks about the things he thinks about. That's why Pete says the things he says. Because Pete's saying all the things that Alex Jones was yelling liberals were going to say that they're about, that they're into. Meanwhile, it was Alex and his people that were into it, obviously. I guess what I'm trying to say to you people, it's a realization for me, and I've had it a while ago about Pete. It's like Pete knows what I know. Because he's, number 3 or 4 man in this kind of totem pole of subjugation and world dominion. He's a major player in it, taking boatloads of welfare. By Pete's statements, what he thinks about, what he cares about, that tells me specifically the realization I've had about Pete. Pete knows what I know. He thinks he can get around certain things, though. He thinks he can get around the blessing that Donnie has, being the Antichrist, the devil giving him his authority. He can't get around that. Leon, Pete, JD, you can't get around that, and you won't. He thinks he can get around Armageddon, the judgment of him and the Antichrist. No, Pete, impossible. Hand in hand. Sorry. He thinks he can get around death and judgment by hopefully one day having an immortal body that he can jump into. I don't think we're anywhere near that technology, that ability scientifically, despite what conspiracy theories are out there. Because, son, if the rich could jump into a new body for real, that would have been marketed and sold a long fucking time ago. So I don't believe it's possible yet. Given enough time, maybe, but how would you download a consciousness? That's the real question. Cloning, we're kind of able to do that. Still not to my satisfaction, though. So the downloading of consciousness, that's a concept. Who understands it, even has a starting point for that? Nobody. Absolutely nobody. So what we have in the end times here is AI. That's the best representation of themselves specifically they can come up with. You will have the image of Donnie, I assume. Maybe he'll be a vegetable. Or maybe they'll just want the image anyway, even if he's fine and not a vegetable. So that's the best they got. They can put their personality, almost their exact personality, into AI, but that's not good enough. Thale wants that immortal body that he can just jump into. And he says, again, he said it out loud. So these specific theories and things that he thinks about that are important to him, that's a window into his psyche for me, personally. Knowing what I know, what I've been yelling about for 10 years, what I've studied for decades, how I specifically have pondered it. It's like, again, Pete knows what I know, and his psyche needs to hold on to these ideas that he can get around the end, that he can trump God, if you will, and never die and stay here and be immortal. There's only one reason for him to need that. People of Pete Thale's status in society. Not all of them. Not even close. They worship something. That's why they're where they are. Guys like Thale. They know they worship something. They know the consequences of that worship and that seat that they have. They know it. How do I know they know it? Or at least Pete knows it. By the arguments he's making, by what his psyche needs to believe. His psyche needs to believe he can be immortal here and have his kingdom here. And trump God on the death thing. Not gonna happen. Sorry. He thinks he can walk hand in hand with the Antichrist and enjoy the fruits of that. But to avoid the judgment segment where Christ comes back and turns the battlefield into mush, I assume that's when Theo will die as well. He needs to avoid that. That's his judgment. That's his death. Then the lake. Pete knows this. That's Greasy Pete Thale, by the way, I'm talking about. That's why his psyche needs to make these arguments. He needs to believe it. He puts his hope in it. That's the devil's hope, son. That's the 3-year-old's hope that he can beat up his father. Impossible. Never gonna happen. I'm convinced Pete knows what I know. Pete worships something. He knows what that worship costs. That's why he makes those two specific arguments. Immortality, I avoid death. Avoid the judgment, Armageddon. Avoid death. Avoid the lake. So weird seeing a man of his position, and I know who he is, making these arguments because he needs to. It's like a movie or something. It's unexpected. Kind of like the gold statues of Donnie on the Holy Land that they literally made a commercial of and shoved it in our fucking face when crazy guy in sunglasses was yelling, he's the Antichrist, and it's all about the Holy Land. All roads lead there. And then he takes it first. And then it's back to the commercial, using a shot of him and Bibi chilling on the pool deck. That's the type shit I'm talking about. This Pete Thale thing. Same thing as that. I didn't see it coming. It's like a movie where a minion of the Antichrist knows he's a minion of the Antichrist, knows scripture, knows he worships the devil, and literally does worship the devil, knows the cost of that, therefore needs to believe and make arguments about immortality and avoiding the judgment of Armageddon. That's a cheesy movie plot. And that's what I'm witnessing. Nicolas Maduro charged with felony oil possession. That's from The Onion. That's parody, of course. But it's the truth, son. That's truth, Troof. Nicolas Maduro charged with felony oil possession. Remember, Donnie made the argument that they stole their own oil. Remember that? That's felony oil possession. Okay, Stephen Miller did an interview towards the end of the day, and I've got about 4 or 5 clips from it we're going to go through quickly. This is what he looked like. Him and Jake Tapper. Miller, the U.S. is using its military to secure our interests unapologetically in our class. What's the buzzword of the Reich? Hemisphere. We're a superpower, and under President Trump, we are going to conduct ourselves as a superpower. It's absurd that we would allow a nation in our backyard to become the supplier of resources to our adversaries, but not us. They made the same argument in the United Nations. Another guy, not Stephen Miller, the same exact argument. Why should our enemies control that oil? They don't. Venezuela sells oil to certain people, Russia, China, whatever. They have the right to do that. So the argument is we're an empire and we get to control the hemisphere, and why should our enemies get any of that oil? We should get it. And it's okay for us to annex a country. That's a Reich, son. You're watching the facade drop even more. Steven's been waiting to say this. And he always knew he was going to say it. Jake Tapper, sovereign countries shouldn't be able to do what they want to do. Miller keeps yelling. He went into his Goebbels impression. Murderers, rapists, blah, blah, blah. You know, all the things Donnie and Hegseth and others are in the Reich. That's the argument. That's the talking point. You're going to hear the word hemisphere left and right. I've noticed multiple people use it already. That's the talking point. You're going to notice this argument. Why should the greatest oil reserves, why should they be allowed to sell to our adversaries? Look, these are some thin-ass arguments, and it's just modern speak, Reich speak for annexation. That's all that's going on. And the stealing of resources, just like Adolf Hitler did. And Steven's an actual Nazi. God, I gotta end this thing. I got something important to do tomorrow. So you won't take it off the table that America won't use military force to seize Greenland? That's Tapper asking Miller again. Stephen Miller laughs. He did laugh. Says nobody would fight us for it, despite European nations saying it would end NATO. Bottom line, the guardrails are gone. Yeah, that's the commenter saying that. So Stephen stands says nobody would fight us for it, and he's right. No one's going to war with America over Greenland or any country in South America. We're the Holy Land. Not yet, anyway. Again, the facade drops more. You're seeing the Reich being more open and brazen and straight up annex countries and the greatest oil reserves, the largest reserves on the fucking planet. Can you believe you're here? Do you understand the gravity of what's taken place? This is the Department of State gray check mark, so that's a Reich account. This is our hemisphere, just like Miller's saying, talking point. And President Trump will not allow our security to be threatened. How is stealing Venezuela's oil helping us with security? I don't get it. Oh, that's right. That's just bullshit. And they posted this with their little text at the top. This is our hemisphere with Donnie's picture. This is a Reich government account. So they're telling you once again, literally what the plan is. Donnie takes over the hemisphere. Greenland to the top of South America, or all of it. Guaranteed, inevitable. The Reich's openly saying it now. The hemisphere talking point, and why should we let the oil go to our enemies talking point? And we're a superpower. That's what Stephen McGould said. We're a superpower. We're going to start acting like it. No, we're a Reich now. And they're Nazis. And the same playbook. Again, you want to know what's going to happen? Fucking watch a documentary on World War II, the Third Reich. Step by step, you're seeing that take place in front of you, just covered in modern speak. Rube speak, MAGA speak, corporate cunt speak, diplomatic speak, modern speak. Same thing that happened in 1938, 37, 39. This is our hemisphere, an American president. This is America now. Dictatorship, hemispheric empire to start off with. I assume Donnie will want the whole world. Again, he's an endless void, infinite void of greed that can never be filled. Amazing watching this happen in America. I always wondered what it would look like, man. And it ain't just a dictatorship. It ain't just a Reich. They ain't just Nazis. It's got to be the fucking Antichrist. Thanks to you fucking people. And you know who you are. Tapper again to Miller. Can you rule out that the U.S. is going to take Greenland by force? Miller. Greenland should be part of the U.S. By what right does Denmark assert control over Greenland? The U.S. is the power of NATO. Now we're at the argument of what right does Denmark have to Greenland? So you can take military force off the table? Nobody's going to fight the U.S. military over the future of Greenland, right? Right. Who can make war with the beast? Stephen Miller again. Stephen, you're part of the group the president has said is running Venezuela. What exactly are your day-to-day responsibilities? Stephen don't want to answer this question because this could have him ending up in The Hague or in a court or getting in trouble. Hey, the president has asked Secretary Rubio to be the lead. Collins, but what are you specifically doing? Miller, I don't want to talk too much about myself. Yeah, I'm sure, Steve. But you're not fooling anyone. We know you're running a lot of things behind the scenes. The U.S. just annexed a country with the largest oil reserves and stole their oil and killed 80 people. And the Reich has been going on all the shows with all the characters, saying how great it all is and that it's okay to do. So you don't get out on the streets and riot. That's what's going on right now. And you're letting them get away with it again. I'm not judging you. I'm just telling you what's going on. That's why they do this theater for us. I told you yesterday. It's the same playbook every time. Every time they cross the threshold, another dictator move, facade drops a little more, they get scared, the pitchforks and torches are going to come out. Hitler was scared of the same fucking thing. Every move he made, I'm sure he wondered in the back of his mind, are they going to let me do this? Or are they going to come for my ass? Same thing with these people. I can tell by what they do. They cross the threshold. They sent the whole cast out. Everyone you can think of. And they all attempted to justify it with the approved talking points. And they do that in hopes, again, you let them get away with it again. Works like a charm every time. Oh, this is some good news, Rubes. I gotta tell you, the American taxpayer, you people are so generous. Trump says the U.S. government may reimburse oil companies for rebuilding Venezuela's infrastructure. You mean so they can sell oil and make millions? Billions? So the U.S. taxpayer is going to pay for it? And the U.S. taxpayer paid for the thieves that went and stole it and murdered 80 people? So they got their thug force for free? The oil companies and Donnie and the Reich and whoever else is going to profit off of this? They'll get the investment back. They'll get that for free. Boy, you Republicans sure love communism and socialism. You really do. Can you believe it, son? Gonna take your tax money so the oil companies don't lose no money on this deal. After your tax money paid for the seizure of it, will you see a goddamn nickel from that 17 billion whatever? Donnie's like, did you say billion? There's more than that. Not for you. For Donnie and the oil mafia. And you get to finance their tapping the oil. You get to finance your own subjugation. Peter Thale, Leon Scum, Altman, Donnie. You get to pay Donnie's rent at Mar-a-Lago when he spends 3 weeks there. You get to pay for his whole entourage. You some generous people, boy. I wish I knew generous people like you. Republicans spent all day on TV trying to argue this is about freedom and democracy for the people of Venezuela. That's Ron Filipkowski, right? No, it's about oil, and you even gonna... This is how low they get. This is how little respect they have for you, man. Donnie just pulled the credit card out, told the oil companies, don't worry. After the taxpayer pays for us stealing the oil, pays for our enforcers, our thugs, our thieves, our murderers. We're going to steal money from the taxpayer to pay for our investment. Won't cost you guys a dime. Well done, Rubes. Well done, Marx. I'm sure this will save the farm. And that's it. My daydream seems as one inside of you. Though it seems hard to reach through this life, you're blue and hopeless life. My daydream screams bitter till the end. The love I share, true, selfish to the heart. My heart, my sacred heart. My daydream dream. My daydream, my daydream, dream. My daydream, my daydream seems as one inside of you. Though it seems hard to reach through this life, you're blue and hopeless life. My daydream screams bitter till the end. The love I share, true, selfish to the heart. My heart, my sacred heart. my daydream, dream, my daydream, my daydream, dream, my daydream. I was supposed to sing that at the beginning. And I've been wanting to see if I could talk for 2 hours and then sing a song at the end. I did okay. I got better when you focus on fundamentals. When you start fucking up in singing, you always fall back on your fundamentals. That's your God, basically. So if you're on a stage in front of 5,000 people and you start fucking up, you start feeling yourself slipping a little bit, go back to the fundamentals. My throat's really dry on top of it. Terrible to sing with like I am right now. But that's not the point. The point is I gotta go. And if you'd be so kind, hit the PayPal. I'd really appreciate it. It would really help. And I hope everyone has a wonderful evening. And I'm sorry, what looks like is coming right now is annexation for the next few months, then the military deployed back against us to stop whatever's going to happen around midterms, because they can't have a blue wave and impeachments and shit like that. So don't expect that to ever happen. So the near future, annexation of country after country and resources. They got a timeline. They got to get this done before the midterms. Then the military deployed against you somewhere around the midterms to stop that from happening. Or maybe they'll let the election happen. They see the results and then they say, you know what? Deploy the military. We're not letting this happen. We got to make arrests, nullify. There's going to be riots. We'll put that down. Look, he staged a coup last time. He's not leaving. The midterms will not just happen normally. I'm sorry. I hate to break it to you. And it's obvious. So annexation for a few months, midterms. Donnie's taking it all. That's what the story says. I'm sorry. I didn't want it. And again, please hit the PayPal. I'd really appreciate it. Have a wonderful evening. Until the next episode, if I can still do this after tomorrow. Tomorrow's an important day. Let's put it that way. Have a good evening.